What is up, guys? It's your boy Fix It Daniel, and today we're back on the scooter. We got some information we're going to be doing, we got some stuff we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. So let's get into it. So guys, welcome to the channel and thank you so much for watching. If you have not watched, please go down and check my videos, check me out. I do bikes, I do other stuff. But today we're on the scooter. This is part 2 of part 9. And there's a reason why. So there's a lot that's going on off the camera. A lot of things I had to get in motion. A lot of things I had to figure out off camera. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through it. But let's first go over what's up with the bike. So we're going to try and get to this really fast, really quick, because I got a lot of stuff I need to go do. So basically, in the last video, I took everything out. I took all the parts out and everything like that. And it's sitting over here. Now, why is it in 2 pieces? Well, let me explain. So, off camera, I was working, before I went off camera, I was trying to take off everything because we were going to be taking off the crank. Well, everything was successful. Everything was working out really well. Got everything going until we got to the crank on the stator side. So the crank on the stator side is not coming out. So this is the flywheel, the nut's off, and I should be able to use my press out tool. So the press out tool goes on this little thread here. It, cranks on this and it pulls this off the crank. It did not happen. I think this crank is seized. Now I was wondering why is it bent? Well, it was bent because I got so frustrated. I started hammering at it, put some heat on it, hammered at it, and nothing happened. I didn't use a torch. I just used a heat gun. My heat gun can reach up to like 2,000 degrees. So I just heated it up to 1,000, got it nice and hot, warmed it up a little bit, thought that it might loosen it. Nothing. Cranked on it, nothing. I even used my dad's electric impact, nothing. Nothing would come off. So I got a little frustrated, gave it a little tap of the hammer, kept tapping, and then I ended up mushrooming the head, and it kind of bent this a little bit. So I bent it back as best I can with the hammer. I just figured this crank's destroyed. I was going to replace it. I have a replacement one in there. So wasn't really stressing it, but I don't want to ruin the flywheel or any of the components. So what we're going to do today is I had talked to a local machine shop. They said they work with this kind of stuff. Hopefully they can press this out with ease. I don't care if it's with ease, but they might have something a little more with oomph to get this out. Because as you see, it's already split. And as you see, we went the other route. So granted, the way it's supposed to go is you're supposed to pull the flywheel off first to get that off. And then you separate the block from this side. And then you separate the block from that side, and then the whole thing comes out. And then you got this one little piece, and then you got 2 halves. Well, I went ahead and got all the bolts off and took the crank off of the variator side. So we left this intact instead of having to deal with this whole big thing. So that side came out like it's supposed to. Pressed it on the end with my little press out tool, and it came out perfect. So this side is stuck. It's nothing holding it. These Allen screws is not holding the flywheel on. It's actually holding this piece on right in here. That little metal piece is holding that together, and it just spins. So it's not holding anything on. That should press out and we should be good to go. Push out the crank on that side and boom, we're good to go. We're in business. But it's not working that way. So we're going to take this to a machine shop to let them do what they need to do to get that going. So that is what we are going to be doing today. So yeah, sorry I did it off camera. I really wanted to show you guys this, but the process was stressful, strenuous, and was more easier to figure it out on my own and then explain to you what I had to do. So we got all our parts in a bag, situated, ready to be done. Still have not received the valves yet, so we'll get to those valves later. They're still coming. From overseas, so we can replace those. Because I think this is really the culprit, but I think this is the culprit as well. I want to make sure this is 100%. So now, here is the option. I have 2 options for this. So if we are successfully get this out at the machine shop, then that leaves me with two options. The option is to get a new crank, or what we do is, if they can get this crank out without damaging it any more than what I've done, and they get it out on whole, what we're going to do is we're going to take this crank and measure it. We already measured this side of the crank, and it's perfectly the same size, dimensions, and everything. What we need to do is make sure that this side, the flywheel side, is the same dimensions, because on this one, as you see, it has this extra piece of metal. The one in that box is only about half of this. I don't think it matters, because I think what it is that the piece sticks in this little, where the bearing is, to kind of give it some spin, and that's it. There's nothing else. So it's just a little bit of metal. So I say about half of this is on the new one, where this one's got a nice full length. This is only this half. So I think the dimensions and everything will be perfectly fine, because it is a universal clutch. It uses a universal crank, 250 water cooled universal crank. The dimensions on the variator side fit perfectly. I'm hoping that the dimensions on the flywheel side will fit. If it does, we already have a crank, so we could put this back into the motor, get the motor all built, and put it back in. Now, one of the other things that we will have to wait on is, because in this process of getting this, I damaged the chain. I didn't have the chain held on when I was doing the flywheel, and I guess it got tensed up, and it bent one of the actual links. So I had to get a whole new crank chain, a cam chain is what they call it. I had to get a whole new cam chain to replace this. So this needs to come off regardless. Now, if they tell me that they can't get it out, or it's going to take a long time, or it's going to be super expensive, the only other option is to get a whole new motor. There's a couple of motors. One's on eBay, and one's on a site called Baboon. Baboon has a complete motor for this. Comes with the cover, the flywheel, I think it comes with everything. Now the one from eBay, which is a lot more cheaper, it has everything except for the clutch and the variator, which I have. So I don't care about that, but it does have the flywheel, the crank, and everything, and then even has the valves on top. It has everything. So I'm thinking of maybe leaning towards that, because it would be nice to have a second motor in case this ever does break, because I want to keep this motor as long as I can keep it. So having a spare motor that's ready to go would be a good way to go, or even another parts motor would be a good way to go. That way, if something breaks, I can replace it really quick without having to order it and then order another piece later to have it as a backup. So I've never thought of having two motors for this bike, but I think that's the smart idea, because they don't make this bike anymore. So if I can get this fixed, I would later order another motor. Or should I go and order a motor and then fix this later? That way I have a second motor set off to the side, and then whenever I need it, it's there. Or just even for parts, it'd be there. So that's one of the ideas I'm trying to figure out. So, but first we're going to try and figure out if they can get this out. And then that'll determine which direction that we go. So we're going to go ahead and get this loaded in the truck. We're going to load it in the F-150. We're going to go take it down to the machine shop, and let's go see if they can get this out. All right, guys. So we are in the truck. We just left the shop, which is right across the street. It's basically called a Craft Repairs in our local Hampton, Virginia area. So I just dropped it off. They won't let me know until Monday to get it off. So hopefully they can get it off. They may end up destroying the flywheel in the process, but it is kind of what it is. So we'll give them a go. We'll wait till Monday, see what happens, see if they can get it off. Hopefully they can. It should be fairly simple. Just need something with a little more oomph to get it off that I don't have. If I had the claw, it might work, but we'll just have to go from there. But yep, so we'll wait, and we'll come back to Monday, and we will see how it goes. All right, guys, so we are back from the repair shop. We dropped it off. The guy said give him until Monday. He's going to try and pull it off. Hopefully, it will be easier for him because they have the heavy duty equipment to get stuff like that off. Hopefully, it'll just be a little bit of a pop and it comes right off. Who knows? He did say that would it be all right if it happens to destroy the flywheel in the process? I said sure, because we can get another flywheel as long as it doesn't destroy the chain and the other components inside. That should be fine. But hopefully they can get it off with ease and not destroy the flywheel. That would be amazing. But I know that the crank is destroyed, but we have another crank, so I think we'll be okay. So we're gonna wait till Monday, find out, because we can't move it forward till then. And then after we get our decision from the guy, whether he can get it, not, or destroy it, or whatever, we'll make our fate then. So let's get to Monday. Let's find out if this guy got it off. All right, guys. So it is a couple of days later. So we finally got the call from the machine shop. So we are headed there right now to pick it up. And they said they got the flywheel off. So let's head over there and let's find out what they got. All right, guys, we have arrived to Craft Repairs. Let's go see what they got. All right, guys, and just like that, we got it. It came off. The guy said, well, I never would have gotten it off. He doesn't know why it was on there so tight, but he said they had some fun with it. A little scarring on the flywheel, but nothing. He said that it shouldn't throw it off balance. It didn't hurt the balancing part of that, which is really good. So shout out to the guys at Craft Repairs. They really helped me out. Saved me a ton. So I really do appreciate them doing that for me. So now we can kind of get that crank off and then put the new one on, and hopefully everything will go good. So let's get back to the garage, or let's go back to to our house garage, and then let's get this all torn apart so we can inventory what we need to get. All right, guys, so we are back. We are home. Let me show you the actual part that we got back from the machine shop. All right, guys, so here is the crank back from the machine shop. Thanks to Craft Repairs. They did a really good job getting this out. As you see, I took it, I kind of already taken some of it apart already because I need to get this chain out, because I needed to get the length, because we destroyed it trying to get the crank out with the electric impact. So as you see right here, you see it definitely cannot be repaired. Maybe I could get another link and push these links out, maybe, not quite for sure, but we're going to try and see if we can order a whole new one and get a new chain in. So we already taken out the flywheel, because they did pull it out for us. They damaged it just a little bit, he told me, but he said that it's still balanced right. So even that little scrape was not too bad, which is good. And then scraping inside, we'll have to clean this all up. And then the sprocket wheel is off. It's got a pretty good lube in there. He doesn't know why this was hard to get out. He said it was just really in there tight. Maybe someone impacted the nut on there. Who knows? But we got it out. So we're gonna replace it with the one that we got in the box over here. We're gonna measure, because what we need to do is we need to measure this. Even though it's a little bent and crooked, we can still get our measurements. Hopefully this will actually, the one that we got, the universal one, will work. So I'm hoping that we won't have to go order another crank. Now, if we do have to order another crank, it will be the exact crank like this online. There is one online that I found, the only one left. But I want to give this one a try, because this is a universal crank that looks like it may work. The only thing that's probably be short is this little sleeve might be just a little bit short. But I don't think that's going to stop us from using that crank, because there's nothing once it goes into the stator. There's just nothing that holds this. So I'm hoping that we can get lucky and just reuse what we have. So what we need to do now, this is ready to come out. So all we got to do is just get either hammer it out or some way, shape, or form, or press it out. However we need to do it to press this out. And once we get this crank out, we'll be good. Then we can start cleaning this up. I need to clean it up and get it painted, because as you see right here, so what we got here is we got a painted parts. So we painted the back half of the motor, it's a little more shinier than it actually normally was, as you can see compared to how this dully gray is, and then you see how I kind of brightened it up a little bit. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more like this, but it's actually a lot more brighter metallic, which looks pretty cool. At first I was a little worried about it, but it actually looks really cool. It makes it look a lot cleaner. So definitely got it looking really, really good. So we need to do the same thing with this, but we got to get this crank out first. So once we get the crank out first, we can definitely get into making it look like this, so the whole entire piece will be all synced up. We did the same thing with the water pump cover. We did it all. We got it looking nice and really good. Not too bad. Some of it's a lot better than what it looked like. It's a lot better than looking like this, all pitted, and oh, it came out on its own. How about that? It just fell out. That's crazy. It literally just fell out. That's so funny. I didn't even do anything. I thought I was going to have to pound this thing out. It just fell out on its own. Well, that makes life easy. Literally, on camera, just fell out. That's nuts. So, all right, so now that we got that taken care of, what I really want to do is, well, that saves me the effort. I was going to have to, thought I was going to set it up and pound it out. It came out on its own. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this on the somewhere so we can measure and get a kind of a comparisons length. If it is, I think we're going to be okay using the aftermarket one. So let's go put it somewhere so we can set it up so we can look at the measurements and see. All right, guys, so this is our old, and this is the universal one. Now right off the bat, I noticed something different, and I think you could probably see too. It says it's the size. So one of the things I noticed is that the size is a little bit, this is bigger than this. So we're going to still take our measurements and lengths. So I'm going to measure this from, I'm going to do a bunch of measurements just to make sure it all lines up. So I'm going to go from sprocket to this little piece here. So it's about 2 1/4. Two and a quarter. So that actually is the same length from here to here. See if we can get a measurement on the threads. Okay. Let me make sure that's correct. That notch before 1. Wow, okay. So it actually is the same length. From here to here is the same length. From the thread, from the end, from the touching of this to the threads is the same here. Now the only difference is this little extra metal piece is a lot more shorter here, which I think that'll still be okay. But I'm worried because the diameter seems to be smaller. Now, I don't know why that is, but it looks like everything lines up, because even when I took my measurements from here to here, it all lines up. So let me take my measurements from this side as well. So I'm gonna do from here all the way to the tip, and we'll just see if we get the same measurements. So we're at, say, 3 3 1/4. Okay, so let's see. So this is 3 5/8. So all right, so this is going to be 3 and looks like 5/8 with 1 notch. So 3, 5, 8. Okay, so it's perfect. It's the same length. It's the same length. So we're making out pretty good. That's a half. And that's a half. So everything is matching. The only thing I'm concerned with is the diameter size. So I don't know if that's going to be the same. So, all right, guys. So we will have to order the crank. We'll have to send back that one. I already had the paperwork ready to send, but I thought that if I could hurry and get the crank to the machine shop and have them press it out, I was hoping that would fit. Well, unfortunately, it's not going to fit. It's a universal 250 crank, and it doesn't work on mine. So the only option is to get a new crank. So one of the other options I thought about doing was getting another motor. So and then use this one as parts. But since, you know, the only thing we really need is a crank, and then we need a chain, may go ahead and just get the crank. Maybe later, I was thinking about getting the motor if they still have them available, because it wouldn't hurt to have another motor. But I've heard and talked to people, and people have commented. One guy had said that this is a reliable bike. So I think if we get the motor tip top, we get it all the right parts and everything that we need, this thing will probably run forever. I think the reason why it didn't run this time was just some kind of mechanical issues. Maybe like the guy said, there was no oil. Someone ran it with no oil, or whatever mechanical mishap. Someone didn't do their job right. Who knows? I'm not really quite for sure what the outcome came of it, but I know that it needs to be replaced. And there are some burnt areas on the crank that that definitely would strike as some kind of weirdness going on there. Maybe some heat, some extra burnt heat had gotten to it, or whichever. So it just makes it more sense to go ahead and replace the crank. We already got the motor torn apart. It would make more sense to just go ahead and oh, that's weird. Oh, I know what that is. Sorry. It would just make more sense to go ahead and get the new crank. Get the new crank, do it right. You know, let's get it right, get the right chain, the right crank, and then we'll put it back together the right way, and everything should go good. We still even haven't received the valves yet to replace the new valves, so we still got plenty of time. So I'm hoping to go ahead and put an order in for a crank and put an order in for a chain, wait for those to come, get those installed, then we can get this motor back together. This motor is ready to go back together. We've torn it all apart, as you see right here. We got parts everywhere. We got the parts all in here. There's the other half came back to the machine shop, the wheels, and then there's the new other side half, and everything. It's all torn apart. The motor is completely in disarray. But we can get it back together, no problem. We just need to order these last 2 pieces and wait for the third one to come. Once we get all that again, we could put everything, mesh everything back together. So what we'll do while we're waiting is we'll go ahead and clean this and get it painted just like this. So that way we can get it all perfect. Then wait for everything and then just get it installed. So we'll have to wait yet again, but I think it'll be okay. So I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I just wanted to show you all the parts a lot more better. So this is all the parts. It's all just disarrayed. And like I said, you know, the motor is clean here and painted, clean here and painted. We can get this one clean and painted while we're waiting. Kind of a bummer about this, but I think it's a good idea because I really want to show you guys so you can see what I mean. So you see these burn marks? See those burns on the bottom parts? It's gotten burned pretty good. So that could mean that either it was low on oil and it got really burnt hot. So this could have gone all out of whack, even though it doesn't seem like it, but it definitely could have gone out of whack. That's not supposed to be there. So we probably should go ahead, and then we mangled that piece. So that's definitely not going to be able to go back on there. So we just have to order the right stuff and then get everything back in. And we'll go ahead and send this back out. And we'll wait for the other parts to come back in. We'll put it all back together. And now we got the, we also did clean out the oil area. So now when we put fresh oil in and we have to drain it again, there's no more metallic oil or anything. So we should be really good. Everything will be nice and clean, fresh, ready to rock and roll. So I'm super happy with that. And I know this bike will be happy with having fresh, clean oil in there and everything. So we should be pretty much good. But yeah, guys, that is it. I think we're going to go ahead and stop here because we're going to have to order parts. We're really going to have to order some parts. We're going to have to order crank and a chain, and that's going to, I have to get on the computer and do some searching. I already have the crank available. It's already in my box. I just need to make sure I get the right chain because the chain count, the link count, it was like 50. From the broken part all the way around was 50 links. So, so the only one I found right now is a 49. So we need to find an exact 50. If not, maybe I can buy a, maybe like a 50, find a 51 or a 52 if I can't find a 50, and then just buy a link kit to de-link it to 50, and then we should probably be good that way. But we'll figure that out when we get there. We'll try to order the right one. Sorry, we'll just keep doing some digging and find it, and then we should be good. Order it and wait. But guys, sorry for all the stop and goes, but I guess it's just how it goes with builds. You know, you want to do it right. You don't want to rush it. So you definitely want to make sure that we're getting the right parts that fit the bike. And sometimes you can get away with universal stuff, but this universal piece does not fit the bike. So we definitely need to order the right ones and everything. So definitely we'll do that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this was probably a little short video, but it's been spanned over a few days. Sorry, I had to stop and go, you know, in between life and kids and family and work. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of a full video from start to finish. It's been spanned over a few days, pushed together. So I guess it's pretty much how it'll be. But guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a good and blessed day, and we're gonna see you on the next fix. Until then, peace.